For this project, we are going to be creating an animation. So the first thing you want to do, and this animation is titled The Bee, you want to go to the plus sign and go to 4x6. Now I like to title it before I get started on it, so I'm going to go back and tap here and title it The Bee. And then you're going to open that up. The next step is we're going to turn on Animation Assist. So you're going to go up to the wrench, click on Canvas, and then turn on Animation Assist. Now down here are some settings that we can play around with, but we don't need to do that right now. And so this one, we need to, I believe, okay, this is going to be our background. Okay. Okay, so we are going to draw on layer 1. And what we want to do is we want to grab our pen, and I like to use calligraphy monoline, and then make sure to adjust the size here and make sure opacity is on. I always have a difficult time with that word. And choose black. And we're going to start off with drawing a flower. So we're going to do a C shape and draw some petals. Add a stem and a flower, and we want to make sure all lines are touching. And then I'm going to come in and put some dots on the top of the flower. I'm going to lower the size of my pen and come in and add just a couple of details. Okay, then I'm going to increase my pen size back again. Now I'm going to shrink my screen just a little bit so that it's easier to see. I'm going to start off on the edge, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw my grounding line or my land line. And then I'm going to decrease my pen just a little bit, and I'm going to draw a sun in the sky. And just do some basic triangles. You know, the little primary sun that we're used to seeing is okay. It doesn't have to be a perfect sun. The more animated, the better. And then that's all I'm going to do for my background page. Now, what I want to do too is I want to turn on reference. Make sure that's turned on. And now I'm going to add color. I'm going to drop color. And if that doesn't work, I just kind of pop around there until I get the color I want, and then drop that in. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to create an extra layer. So I'm going to create an extra layer. And on that layer, I'm going to add my color. So a layer for every color. And we are going to pull all of these layers together once we add our shading and stuff. We'll pull them all together. And you probably noticed that my lines turned gray, but that's okay. They'll change back once I join my reference page with everything. Okay, so I'm going to create another layer, and this time I'm going to choose an orange and do my sun. And just drag and drop the colors in. Okay. And then I'm going to add another layer, and this time I'm going to add the green of my stem and my leaf there. And for the background colors, I'm just going to go back to layer 1, and I'm going to choose a darker green for the grass, and then choose a color for my sky. Nice bright blue color. That way, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and I'm going to add shading to everything. So I need to use my touch-up pen and noise. So it's the noise brush, and I'm going to, let's see what layer I'm on. I'm on this layer. So I'm going to touch the flower, get a darker color, and then come in on one side and just add the shading. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to do alpha lock, so let's turn that on. And that's by me swiping my fingers to the right, 2 fingers to the right. Or you can tap here and turn on alpha lock. So that keeps you from drawing anywhere else, going into any of the other areas. All right, so now I'm going to the pink. I want to choose the pink and make it a darker pink. And then go in and just shadow along the flower petals. There we go. And then go to my stem and leaf and add a little darker green there. And go in and add my shading. And I'm going to go all the way down the side of this stem and just in the corner here of the leaf. And then I'm going to do the sun, even though the sun doesn't really need a shadow. And look what I did. I put it on the same layer, but that's okay because they're separate. And it should be okay. So I'm going to come in here and just add a little bit of shading. It just gives it, you know, this extra look that looks sharp, actually. Okay, so now that I'm done with my shading, I'm going to squish all of my layers together. And see my black returned and my colors got more vibrant. All right, so the next step is to add a layer. And what you notice down here, it adds a frame. Okay, and so for each layer or each frame, my bee is going to be in a different position. So I'm going to turn my pencil down. And I'm going to make sure I'm on layer 2. And I'm going to draw a little bee. And I'm going to do real simple bee. Oop, wrong color. Let's go back and choose black. Okay. I'm going to draw a very little simple bee right next to the flower. And why? Oh, I'm in the wrong. Okay, well, we learn by our mistakes. I need to change my pencil. Okay, there we go. Now let's try that again. Draw a simple little bee with 2 little lines, 2 little wings, and antenna. Okay, so I'm going to increase the size of my canvas, and I'm going to alpha lock my little bee. And for this one, I'm just going to color in the bee. So let's see. I need black. Pencil. And I'm on the layer. On the layer. Oh, let me turn alpha lock off for this, for the coloring part. Okay, so I'm going to color that in. Then I'm going to choose white for the wings. And just fill that in. to choose yellow. Okay, I want a bright yellow. And then just color that in. Real simple little bee, not very difficult at all. And then I think I might add two little, make this a little bit more rounded. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and start moving my bee around. So I'm going to hit the select tool, and this one will turn the bee like side to side. So it turns it like this. This one will move around the shapes and distort it. And see what that does there, and there, and there. So using a pen, Apple pencil or pen, I can touch it and move it, but using any other stylus, you may have to use your finger, like come off of the square and touch it. So I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to come up to layers, and I'm going to duplicate this layer. Okay, then I'm going to hit select, and then move my bee down a little bit, about halfway, then duplicate it again, select, move my little bee down halfway, and I'm going to do this process over and over again, and I'm going to go around in a circle, like circling around. Select, oops, not too far, I was too close. All right, so for this one, now I want the bee to start turning upwards, so I'm going to touch that little green circle there and start turning the bee going upward. Okay, then I'm going to duplicate that, choose it, come up, and I want it to turn a little bit. So I'm going to turn it just a tad, and then duplicate it again. And I'm going to keep doing this until I have the bee going all the way around. Okay, so I decided for the sake of time to have my bee going off the page. So that is what I'm going to do. You can still loop it. And you want to make sure that he actually goes off the page, or it'll stop at the end of the page. I want to turn him a little bit more. Okay, and then move him up, and he's almost off the page. And then moving right off. There we go. All right, so that's that. Okay, there's all the layers. Now we can play it. Oop, I forgot a step. Okay, so the reason why I lost my background during the process is I forgot to set my first page or my first layer to the background. So tap on that and set it as the background. And now when you choose play, you can see my beautiful little bee flying off the flower. All right, so lesson learned. These are great to have these mistakes because this is what we learned from. Go ahead and tap the wrench, and we want to share it as an animated gift. Save it to your Google Drive. But first, also you can manipulate the speed right here, how fast you want it to go. So see how fast that picks up that speed there? Okay, so we don't want it going that fast. I like to go about midway. And there we go. So I'm coming back because I realized my bee was not going completely off the page because I had not shrunk my page to see that the bee wasn't going off the page completely. So I'm coming in and I am fixing that before I save it. And making sure my little bee, oops. Okay, undo that. Now, oops. All right. Practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Okay. And now the bee is almost completely off the page. And I think probably one more will do it. And then try to see if I can get it to go off. This one might be a little harder to do. There we go. All right, so let's play it. Let's see what happens. We can come down here and play. There we go. Now it's going off the page. Now I want to save it and I can adjust it. So share as animated GIF, export it, and you're going to save it to your Google Drive and then attach it to the assignment.